I'd like to say hello to everyone that's going to join this stream as it progresses, and to thank anyone who checks it out afterward. Today marked the inauguration of Cindy Hyde Smith as the new senator from Mississippi, and she is replacing Thad Cochran, who has been serving in that seat since 1978. And her holding of that seat was the result of being appointed to it. Now, there's been a lot of talk about the fact that she's the first female congressman from the state of Mississippi. Let me say hello to William. And hello, Dirk. There were a lot of people who were talking about the historic moment of a woman taking her position in the South, where so often there was much discrimination based on gender, as if we haven't heard that about the other parts of the U.S. And what I found most amusing was that, people who went after Cochran for voting against abortion rights, his healthcare stance, just any issue that, people who identify as Democrats or on the left would be opposed to him for, are now going to find themselves being called sexist over their discontent with whatever Hyde Smith does, the new congressman or new senator rather. And it really grossed me out because I started having flashbacks to this past presidential election, where anytime you spoke ill of Hillary and you happened to be male, you were told you didn't like her because she had a vagina. You weren't told that you didn't like her because of any particular stance she had, or the fact that many of her positions were basically flip-flops of prior stances that she had, and you couldn't take whatever she said seriously because you'd heard one thing come out of her mouth and the other thing come out. There were just many reasons for why people had discontent with her that weren't associated with the fact that she was female, but because supporters of hers were not wanting to accept the fact that there was valid critique of someone that happened to represent a certain group. They decided to just start flaming critics with those charges. And it kind of reminded me also of, the Obama criticism during both of his presidential elections. You don't like him because he's African American, not because he kept half of Bush's stuff still in place, like the Patriot Act and the airstrikes and drone strikes that kill innocent children all across the Middle East. These were things that were supposed to be fine because now it's, someone that's of a minority. It doesn't matter if they're doing the same thing as the supposed Caucasian that was so horrible, but because they are of, again, some other ethnicity, or they're female, it's okay. It's skimmed over. It's skipped. I mean, you had the same Iraq war that was criticized by an extensive member of Democrats being allowed to be on the voting record of Clinton during her campaign, and having Democrats defend it. She didn't know. She had no idea. So, obviously, you can't entirely judge a congressman off of somebody else's record. But if she's getting appointed, and we have several years to go to find out what her whole record is, you can guess that it's similar to the person she's replacing, who was of the same party. Okay, Splendor Gaming says people on the left can be morons when they claim it is discrimination that motivates anyone that is against abortion. Most opponents believe that the child, once conceived, can't be executed. Well, my stance on abortion has always been that people can do whatever they want, even if it's not something I would necessarily do. And most of the people who are saying, you shouldn't kill the child, wouldn't help you with it anyway. Not too long ago, a couple of years back, I was on a forum where I got into a dispute with a couple of conservatives who were saying, well, of course, you're supposed to take care of it. You brought that into the world. You take accountability. But you're going to demonize me over making a mistake, and just their whole thing was, in my opinion, very slanted toward one mindset that kind of tried to grasp at not straws, but just any way that it could get away from taking on what I was trying to convey and defend itself to the bitter end. And it was bitter. Um, this topic is kind of it's strange because I'm not I don't she doesn't have anything directly to go after yet when it comes to positions that we know of, but because of who appointed her, who she's succeeding, and what they all had to say about each other, we can assess or we can interpret that it likely will be a repeat of his positions. But now it will be able to go through and pass smoothly because, oh, you criticize me. It's because I'm enter minority or gender here. So it's a sad occurrence. And hopefully, in a couple of years, we can get her out of there. Splendora Gaming says, I'm not saying that you have to agree with them, just saying that it's not discrimination, just another way of looking at the situation. What's not discrimination? Oh, the other thing. No, I'm not misinterpreting what you're saying. I was stating my own stance. So I want that to also be known. I'll probably have something else out maybe today, definitely tomorrow, and it will likely have to do with the same topic or just the issue of current events. I just wanted to have this pointed out just for history's sake, that on the day of the inauguration of the first Congress member that was gifted with being female in Mississippi, we predicted that she would at one point or another have anyone who criticizes her labeled a sexist. I'm telling you it's coming. Envoy says, hey, I'm going to say hi back. All right, so thank you for watching. I'll have something out very soon. Tune in.